Morning. Well, it looks like I only have 22 minutes for this first part. I have to leave in a half an hour anyway, and this is probably going to be two parts. But I was called to come on right now before I go get a hair trim, just to take a little bit off of the bottom. Well, so the conversation that I wanted to come up has to do with the things that we contain and think about. Um, are the things that keep returning back to us. And this is both on an individual scale and also on a universal or a collective unconscious uh, group think. So, whether you think of the center of the universe in one sense is the subconscious, you could think of it as you have a black hole in your head, and whatever gets pulled into it, it's going to burp it back out. But because of the way that time is stretched out and the way that it's on, time is both linear and it's non-linear, where each day, each hour, each minute is enclosed in its own cycle. And so is one lifetime. And so is 1 year, and so on and so forth. Well, the same as every time you listen to a song or anything like that. And the state of mind that you were in when you listen to it. This compounds and helps the subconscious define who it is, which is both a blessing in disguise and a hell of a curse that is also a blessing in disguise, because that means there's always extra information for us to develop ourselves off of. But all information that comes from the outside is all trapped in a circuit, and is, even though it seems like it's chaotic and nonlinear, it is extremely linear. And so all the information that comes in both comes in as static, and it comes in as its own third rail that one cannot perceive. Well, so one thing that made me think about this is, so for instance, when I'm in that ego place of meditation, with the divine, making a playlist, as it were, doing that work of praying with and for about the collective and working out whatever Josh and the Galactic Center wants to feel, or wants to joke about, or however that goes, because I'm not in control, though I have control. And everyone who made a song or contributed is in control and has no control. So here's one of the things that comes up when it comes down to the collective unconscious about this. So, for instance, let's just use Michael Jackson, okay? So he's big star. Everybody in the world just about knows who Michael Jackson is, except for maybe some people in China. I don't know. In some far reaches of the Amazon basin, and yeah, maybe some people near the North Pole. I don't know. Everybody knows who Michael Jackson is. So think of it this way. So whatever Michael Jackson's state of mind he was in, and the purpose behind it when he created the song, then he goes out and he performs it to himself 1,000, 1,000,000 times. I don't know. And he goes out on stage and he does the same thing. And then all these other people are working with it in a constellation, making the same but different, and compounding it and compounding it. And then every single person that listened to that song and came to that concert, and it's just replaying, it's replaying, it's replaying, it's replaying. Then this goes into the Galactic Center, and it has to come out and has to resolve itself at some point later, which is a warning if you want to be a big star, it's really important greater than you might perceive and believe, that you give a positive message or something that everyone needs to work on, um, because it's coming back around. It has to. Um, Everything has to come back to a baseline. And this also, another aspect of this has to do with, interestingly, the planetary alignments and such. So planets, interestingly, um, go obviously in orbit, but from our perspective, they all go around and then they go, "Ooh, ooh, 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 ooh," and there's that retrograde motion. That is a signal or a sign, of that whatever comes around goes around, but at the same time, there's no running from the past. Truly, it takes time for each thing, especially the harder it's been compounded into the source by more people and with greater emotion, uh, love, pain, agony, anger, frustration. Um, then even as you could look at it as the galactic center is healing from that, then it always comes back, it catches and it has a click where it has to touch that again. And each time the retrograde motion lessens if the intention is to move beyond. But it is a great aspect of love that these painful moments, even as we're walking away from them, we don't just walk past them again. Step back. There's double take and a new thought form about it, and then it's evolved another step. And my relationship with my long distance close friends of the music industry, maybe that explains some of the things that other people have seen in the playlist format, and um, how the universal mind heals and evolves, and it also sheds light upon how each of us grows. Um, Another form of this, and the physics terms are really useful because we can imagine them, even though it's the funny thing is, who can prove it, right? Even if you decided you got all this stuff, okay, but who says that that's really true? Just because your equipment says that it was set up to say that, right? You are based upon a certain belief, so of course it's going to prove it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be stacked up that deep. So there's an interesting logic catch in sciences that we'll technically only find what we're looking for. Well, so another aspect of this is gravitational lensing. So just as so this is like a reverse aspect. This is like intentions of where we choose to go, and using suffering or the past to take us there at a greater speed. So gravitational lensing is looked at. Maybe tell me if I'm wrong, but this is just how I'm explaining this principle. So it's about using gravity to magnify something. If we're looking, see, there's a star that's over here, and we're over here, and we can't get very good uh, view on it. Maybe there's something in the way, or maybe um, it's just too far away. But by knowing the orbits of the planet that we're on, and how this star out here is moving in whatever direction it's moving, and as we're coming around the sun from our position, one can see at some point, knowing enough about space, that there might be a large star that's in between or a black hole. Potentially, they could be in between. Now, by using gravitational lensing at the right time, one can actually, because light gets focused around these objects um, as it passes by, then we can use that giant object as it passes around, even though it starts to block the object we're looking at. As it moves closer in the way, the light waves from it start compressing and focus around it. And then one can get a lot clearer picture of a specific thing if you know exactly when and how to look at it. 10:51. Well, I only got 10 more minutes here before I gotta go, and before I clear off my phone, it looks like I run out of space. Well, I'm borrowing a friend's 2 of his Oracle decks for the day. Hopefully everything's well with him. So we're gonna pull a couple cards on that real quick. So this is the Ascended Masters deck. There's one that I was gonna buy. I didn't tell him that. Next week, he's like, "Hey, I ordered a deck. Guess what one I got?" I'm like, "Really?" Who we got? Look, I was just talking about gravitational lensing and intentions and this clearing of karma of the past and how it does have to keep coming back around, so we'll resolve it. And it resolves itself on both ends of the connection. So we got Melchizedek, the spiritual law of attraction. Beautiful. And then he also has these Healing with the Angels Oracle cards. It's funny. He always gets the body care card. The angels are straight up. They know exactly what they're talking about, too. Ooh. Spiritual law of attraction, romance. Gosh dang, we're looking pretty hot today. Pretty hot today. Let's get another one of these. $12.51. I only got $22.48 available. Romance, truth and integrity. Yeah, these are good things to be holding and to be focusing at ourselves, regardless of what the challenges might be. We manifest with our heart. Here, let's grab another one. Oh, we pulled two. Whew. Man. And it's two other things. Yes, we want to attract romance. And that's what, but we have to attract what we are. Or we do attract what we are. Romance, truth and integrity, dreams, and miracles. I love it. Well, let's not leave it. Since we're at it and we're borrowing this deck, let's see. What Ascended Master wants to come at the end. Paul the Venetian, artistic expression. Right. Love and art and creation all come together, and they all form out of chaos. Surprisingly, you're not going to create much out of order other than chaos, but doesn't that make it art? Uh-huh. there's that Saturn and Aquarius. Impossible combination again. Impossible combination. Culmination. That's how we culmination. Full of a bunch of slow hairs and speedy torti. Interesting. Cetero, along with this, gives us two interesting representations. We have the 2 and the 4 of Swords. The 4 of Swords, we have the woman laying as the baby in the nest. And in this one, 2 of Swords, she's blinded, being attacked by crows. That's really interesting combination. That reminds me of, is it the Mockingbird? I don't remember. So, or is it Cuckoo? Maybe it's both. I can't remember. So there's these birds, right, that that come along and lay their eggs that are way bigger in somebody else's nest, and then has that parent raise it, and then that baby will the alien of the nest will kick all the other babies out and then eat everything, because it usually is of a much larger bird than the nest that it takes over. And the mother will just keep coming back and feeding it, feed the wrong baby. But then, yeah, in this case, I see this is a form of love, and also reminding us to be wary of where we sleep. This is in a spiritual metaphor. Make sure you're here and you're staying in your own lane, kind of thing. Otherwise, then how are you going to fight off all these birds if you're blindfolded? Black birds and a black blindfold. So this is about maintaining awareness to make these things possible. Sleep's a cousin of death. Well, there's just another minute or so left. Let's pull the signs for today. Sign, planet, house. We got Jupiter in Pisces in the 8th house. The granting of your dreams as a life or death issue. See, like the 2 tarot cards are a very different angle on this law of attraction. It's almost like we got a completely different voice, like the dark side of the mirror spoke. And then here's the light side in the oracle cards. And now in these karma cards, they give the house a sign and the planet. It seems as though it's giving an interpretation of the middle ground. Blessings from your idealization of getting and using power. Right, the balance of having power, how we get it, how we use it. Shows our worthiness and our intentions. And lastly, in the physical realm, good fortune, be a part of something overwhelming, and use other people's resources. Right? Because we can't do anything by ourselves. And that is the truth. That's why the terms me, my, and I are all important terms for understanding perspectives, but in another sense are minimal importance and roles in the collective, because we all have to work together at any length and at any distance. So actually, I kind of summed up what I wanted to get out in this download, but maybe there'll be a part two. I'm going to leave this to upload while I go get a haircut. Maybe two. Gotta get some trim one way or another. See ya.